Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be discussing pinkwashing in relation to Target and Google, what Alex Edmonds might think about it, and what Milton Friedman would say about Seneca's sustainability commitment, and finally, two sustainable purchases I've personally made and how they align with the SDGs. So, pinkwashing happens when company publicly supports the LGBTQ plus communities and often during Pride months, but their actions don't fully align with that support behind the scenes, and it becomes more about marketing and reputation that genuine commitment. And Target could be seen as pinkwashing because they heavily promote Pride merchandise and position themselves as inclusive. However, when they faced backlash from certain groups, they removed some Pride product from stores. Critics argue that if a company truly supports a marginalized community, it should stand by that support even when it becomes controversial. So perception is that Target may prioritize their profit and public image over consistent values. Google could also be seen as a pinkwashing because it actively promotes diversity and inclusion branding, especially during Pride. However, some critics argued that while Google presents itself as progressive, there has been an internal controversial regarding how certain employee activism issue were handled, and if a company markets itself as inclusive but doesn't fully protect, empower those communities internally, it create a disconnect. In both cases, the issue is whether their support is value driven or profit driven. Now let's talk about Alex Edmonds. So Alex Edmonds argued that companies should pursue purpose, but purpose must be authentic and tied to long-term value. He believes doing good should align with doing well financially, but not just as marketing, but as a strategy more. I think Edmonds would criticize pinkwashing because it focuses on surface level mostly, signaling rather than genuine long-term commitment. He would likely argue that if a company builds truly believes in inclusion, it should integrate it into a culture, policies and long-term strategy, not just seasonal campaignings. Regarding Target and Google responses to criticism, Edmonds might say that companies should not act based purely on short-term public pressure. Instead, they should stay consistent with their stated purposes. Well, if they rather profits and commitment may not have been fully authentic. Now for the part 3, Milton Friedman believes that the primary responsibility of a business is to increase profit for shareholders as long as it follows the law. He argues that executives should not spend corporate resources on social causes unless it's directly benefit the company for financially. If we apply Friedman's view to Seneca's commitment to sustainable development, he might question whether sustainability initiates are truly aligned with the financial performances. You might argue that Seneca's main responsibility is to deliver quality education efficiently, not to focus on broader social goals unless they attract students or improve something. However, in today's environment, sustainability can actually enhance reputation, attract students, and align with market demand. So while Friedman might instantly criticize it, one could argue that sustainability now contributes to long-term institutional success. And for the last one is my sustainable purchases. The first sustainable product I purchased is a reusable stainless steel water bottle. By using it daily, like instead of buying plastic water bottles, I reduce like single-use plastic waste. So this aligns with SDG 1.2, responsible consumption and production, because it reduces waste and encourage sustainable consumption habits. It also connects to SDG 13, climate action, since reducing plastic products lower like carbon and all other bad harm stuff for our planet. The second sustainable service I purchased is thrifted clothing instead of like fast fashion. Sometimes buying a second hand reduces like textile waste and lowered like demand for new mass production. It's aligned to SDG 12 again, and also to SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, because sustainable fashion encourages more like ethical production system compares to exploitative fast fashion models. Both of these purchases reflect that like consequences consumer chooses that reduce environmental impact and promote more responsible like production system. In conclusion, I can say that pinkwashing raises important like questions about authenticity and like corporate social responsibilities, and Alex Edmonds emphasized long-term purposes, while Milton Friedman prioritized like profit maximization. As consumers and institutions evolve, sustainability and social responsibility are becoming like increasingly connected to a long-term value. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day.